We live our lives inside a mental projection, a construct where the drama playing out right in front of us defines the limits of reality. Caught in this current, we react to every conflict. We feel victimized by events, believing ourselves to be reactive to whatever life brings our way. This perspective usually meets resistance. Tragedies like terminal illness or starvation are undeniably real, and recognizing a mental construct does not mean denying that the world is filled with intense suffering. The issue lies in how we meet that suffering. This is the hallmark of immaturity, an evolutionary stage where we remain fixated on the outside world because we haven't yet learned to look inward for a resolution. The 53rd gene key provides a map for this evolution. It tracks human consciousness as it moves from a state of exhaustion toward a state of peace. At the lower end of this spectrum, immaturity manifests as a constant, restless drive to seek. We hunt for external fulfillment to patch our internal voids, rarely finding a permanent solution. This diagram shows the karmic loop of this seeking state. We spend our energy endlessly cycling between these two nodes, pursuing temporary pleasure and avoiding pain. Take a look at your own blind spots. Often it takes an acute crisis or the weight of total exhaustion to make us finally question the utility of this cycle. Recognizing the emptiness of the outer search begins to starve the cycle of its power. When the drive for external fulfillment finally exhausts itself, the focus naturally begins to turn inward. Moving beyond that restless loop requires a shift in our speed. This happens through physical deceleration. We adopt practices like deep breathing, moments of quiet contemplation, and intentional pauses to interrupt our frantic daily rhythms. This chart tracks the inverse relationship between speed and clarity. As physical rhythm drops, internal awareness rises. At this intersection, the events of your life appear to play out in slow motion. This broadened perspective lets us see our circumstances clearly without being swept away. Maturity arrives through a deliberate deceleration that allows us to process our reality efficiently. This deceleration triggers the gift of expansion. In a modern context, we frequently mistake expansion for merely scaling a business or amassing wealth. But growing one isolated area of life at the expense of others is simply a sign of immaturity. It creates imbalances that eventually threaten the whole. This diagram illustrates true expansion through its three pillars: awareness, love, and creativity. They must grow at a synchronized rate. Awareness without love becomes cruel, while creativity without love becomes reckless. In this balanced state, we stop running from our history. We use our past traumas and difficulties as raw creative fuel for our growth. This internal growth eventually overflows into selfless service. We find ourselves helping others as a natural byproduct of our own internal ripening. True expansion operates as an alchemical process, turning our deepest wounds into the exact tools we use to help the world. This path leads to a final stage, superabundance. This state stands in contrast to the modern focus on manifesting material wealth through affirmations. Meeting our material needs provides comfort, but wealth alone does not eliminate human suffering or provide lasting fulfillment. Superabundance describes a state of pure being that transcends the universe's cycle of expansion and contraction. It is the final destination where the restless seeking of the human spirit permanently ceases. The core realization of this journey is that we cannot force our own maturity. We cannot aggressively speed up our spiritual expansion. Superabundance teaches the fine art of letting go. As we mature, we have to soften, becoming easier on ourselves. In this state, life's energy ripples through you naturally, free of ambition, complexity, or struggle. True expansion reveals itself as the grace of letting the universe move through you.